Hey guys, welcome back to some more AFK Arena. Today we're back over on the YouTube account. We already have 30,000 diamonds, and I was kind of questioning, should we summon for Lathos? Overall, we're seeing her kind of as a very, very one-hit wonder. I'm not seeing her used in a lot of different game modes. I feel like there's going to be a point that we're just going to get her naturally out of summons. But overall, when it comes to the effectiveness of the hero, not seeing a ton of utility. I even went through the Curse Realm, the Nightmare Corridor, a couple other places. And unfortunately, we are not seeing her in a lot of different places. We did pull, and I believe one single copy of her. I think we did last time. We did get her unlocked just based on the regular summons. But again, a lot of players, it looks like 60% right now is saying, no, I'm going to leave it up for a little bit. Also, the other question that I had is with on this account, we are seeing a lot more utility out of Celine. So it might be the point where we need to build her up a little bit higher, finish out the furniture, possibly put a plus 40 signature item on her, just because of the effectiveness of the hero. What is going on? Leonard, Leonard, what is going on? Thank you guys for joining us. Soul is here as well. So again, I was kind of looking and seeing with the current heroes that we possess within AFK Arena, where can we score a little bit better? Where can we pull a little bit more out of kind of the collections? We did also take Kregor, which I know is super, super important within the Treasure Scramble. We did take him to a plus 60 engraving, giving him that other ability. What's going on? Grom and Master is here as well. Thank you guys for joining me. Leo, what's going on, Leo? So again, I was kind of looking because when it comes to the Treasure Scramble, which this is honestly probably one of the biggest parts of AFK Arena, season is over. We scored 81st overall, so doing pretty well in there. But I was just kind of going through and looking at the battle history, looking at a couple of my teams and seeing what heroes that we could really build up a little bit further just to have a little bit more of a competitive edge, trying to get into that top 50 overall with the Treasure Scramble. And you can see we have pretty standardized teams. I don't know if that even means like a Sun Jin Woo or Shahan, because we have started seeing her as a lot bigger, lot higher of a damage dealer. So even here, we did go to a plus 40 signature item here, but also doing the possible 60 engraving in here, just building them up a little bit further. What's going on, Brendan? Thank you for joining us. And Primo is here, Carol as well. Thank you guys for joining me. It's awesome to see everybody on the stream. So again, I was kind of going back and forth. Now, one thing that I have completely, and I know I have neglected the Temporal Rift in a really, really big way. Temporal feedback, we can grab a couple more resources out of here, but I want to go through and I want to run this. I always forget at the beginning to go ahead and run. So there is a 66, there is a 67. Now you also notice that we do have the basic build or level 1 on all of these. That's just how I usually build them because we're usually pretty stuck when it comes to trade and answer. Well, looking at the Rift, like I said, I haven't run through here in a long time. We're on floor 181, guys, which is just absolutely crazy. Haven't even hit that 5 teams yet because again, we were just going in here. I've been kind of playing around with it. Haven't been farming it. Haven't been breaking it down, but I want to look at the team 6-7. Oh, what's going on? Grom with the 6-7 in there. I hear it all the time. Guys, between volleyball and football and kids, 6-7 is absolutely crazy. But in here, I just want to run through the 4 teams we're running right here. We have Alvita and then we do have Mira. Now, I also considered possibly looking at building up Mira just a little bit higher for the effectiveness. I know, again, in a lot of different game modes, she's not being used. Treasure Scramble, she is in here. She's being used. And then we are also running the Frosty Trap on here. We are running the Shroom Spooter. Team number 2, we are running the Awakened version of Shamira, and we do have Thorin in here. We have Rimuru, we have Scion, who is our primary damage dealer. In here, we're running the Dagger of Disaster. Within team number 3, again, we have Celine. That's why I'm almost kind of thinking building her up a little bit further. Skarath, you can see, already have at that plus 40 signature item. But I know with Celine, we need the furniture, possibly looking at the plus 40 signature item. So definitely let me know if you think we should build her out. Now in here, we are running that Axe of Fury. And then we are also running right back here, Falks, and then a lot of buffers for Falks. Now, if you're unfamiliar with this game mode, Desira is a pretty good cheat mode, just for the simple fact that she has the immunity with the ultimate ability. Does work incredibly well in here. What's going on, Direx? I cannot support another Draconic. I'm not summoning for maybe after Dragon Chad. Yeah, so the big thing line them up is the cost. we know when it comes to AFK Arena, when it comes to the sheer cost of Draconic Heroes itself, they are incredibly, incredibly, incredibly expensive. Even looking at my account where we do and we have bought insignias in the past, as it sits right now, we did build up Lan, we have Leviathan, we have the Draconic version of Gwen, and then we also do have the freebie, which was building out Hildwyn. That's it. So when you look, and right there, we just did pick up a copy of Halia. We do not have a Halia. We do not have a Skyland. We do not have Kalon. There are a few that we do not have. And again, we're saving all the resources as it sits today for the new hero that's coming. I know a lot of people, and really it's the cost. So when you look at building and really getting a Draconic hero, it's kind of insane, because when you think of the actual production, so the amount of resources that we get within AFK Arena on a regular basis to build the Draconic heroes, it takes, and I believe again mathematically when they calculated it, about 8 to 9 months to build a Draconic out if you're free to play, if you're being competitive in a couple game modes. Because also remember, there are a few game modes that do give us Draconic insignias if you've maxed out, and I really pushed it on my free to play account. But if you max out some of the Dragon Forge as well, having access to Draconic insignias, of course, can make that a lot faster to go through, but it is still the cost itself. Meaning, instead of it taking, 8-9 months, it might take 6 months with a regular rebate in there. Also, when a new Draconic hero drops, we get about 100 insignias. But now the thing is, when you start looking at the difference between the Awakened heroes and the Highborn Draconic heroes, the Awakened heroes are running about 500-600 insignias to get them fully built. You also do have the option of utilizing the Stargazer to add the stars on there. When it comes to Draconic insignias, it is running about 600 to 700 Draconic insignias to go ahead and build them out. And if you're adding a star on the hero, you also have to go in there and use all of those Draconic insignias to pull another 3 copies in the entirety. So in my opinion, guys, they really need to either 1, up the production that we have of Draconic insignias, or 2, up that rate like they did with the Stargazer and also with the Temple of Time, upping the rate, the drop rate, that 2.5 instead of 2, giving us access a little bit cheaper when they are. Are the normal dragon characters useful? Master, yes, they are. Let me finish out this, and I'll show you kind of the breakdown of them. When it comes to the regular Draconic heroes, are they useful? Absolutely. Guys, they have a tremendous, tremendous use. When you start looking at the Draconic heroes, let me go ahead and collect up all this loot. As you can see, we started farming this out a little bit last week. But looking at the Draconic heroes, and again, going back to Master's question, are the normal Draconic heroes useful? Yes. Looking at Scion, in my opinion, guys, normal Draconic heroes, yes, this is probably one of the highest utility heroes that we have within AFK Arena, just for the simple fact that not only is he best in slot in a lot of different game modes, he is also best in slot or even as a secondary DPS in some of the formations. And it can be proven when you start looking at formations and going through a lot of the different formations within the Cursed Realm, the Nightmare Corridor, the Treasure Scramble, even looking at campaign formations, even looking at a lot of other places. When you start breaking in the leaderboard, Scion is usually best in slot. Envy, still number 1, but then there is Skyland, and we usually have right there Scion. So a regular, normal Draconic hero absolutely has a ton of utility. Still best in slot within the Nightmare Corridor, still best in slot within the Treasure Scramble. Absolutely, Scion, in my opinion, guys, is the number 1 to build, again, because he is best in slot within that damage dealing aspect. Number 2, regular Draconic heroes would be Valfura. This is another hero that does require a significant build for the versatility, also requires a significant amount of magical pierce, which is what you want to build on this hero, again, for the effectiveness. When you start getting a much higher magical pierce, the effectiveness of this hero goes up a ton. Again, regular Draconic hero seeing a lot of utility. Then we even look at Meleon. This is another one that is a support, that is a crowd control. And I feel like with Meleon specifically, we are going to see him used a lot with the brand new Highborn Draconic hero, that we're seeing, just because of the crowd control that he puts together, putting the heroes together, the enemies together, keeping them kind of on that side, also doing a lot of damage. We are already seeing her used in formations within the test server. I feel like, again, he's going to have a little bit more utility just because of the new Highborn Draconic hero that comes up. And then you look at Begrus. This is another hero. Even though he is a warrior, so technically not a support hero, he is a buffer. When you start looking at best in slot heroes on kind of that support aspect, Begrus is absolutely there. He is a hero that we see within a lot of different game modes. Again, does require a little bit of a build out to be effective. And then for the last one, or really the fifth one, it's kind of Kregor, which you see for PvP. Nyla you see in some different places as a damage dealer. But out of these two right now, I would probably build Kregor just for the fact that Treasure Scramble is so incredibly effective when it comes to resource generation and building them out. I feel like those would be the five. And when you start looking at the comps within all of those places, they are all there. When you look at Scion, when you look at Valfuro, when you look at Melion, when you look at, Begrus, when you look at Kregor, they're used in a lot of different game modes, except probably Kregor. But overall, yes, they have an incredible amount of use. And then, of course, when you look at Highborn Draconic heroes, again, Lan, best in slot, really top tier. Even looking at Leviathan, top tier. Skylan, absolutely priority within damage dealer. We are also seeing Kalon being used in a lot of different places, again, as a really big best in slot damage dealer. We are starting to see, and I feel like with the new hero that's coming up, that is going to be another one. We are going to see a lot more damage dealing. And again, the effectiveness of the heroes can really be taken with a grain of salt, because some of them, and I feel like even Lan, that there's going to be a point soon where Lan is going to be replaced by another hero. As we keep coming out with a lot stronger support heroes, a lot more effective heroes like Begrus, I feel like, again, a lot of the support heroes that used to be best in slot, this whole middle tier, is now not used at all. There are, and again, we're slowly replacing a couple of these heroes, even with the release of Begrus, even though, again, he's not a support hero, still seeing a lot of effectiveness in him, and did replace a support hero in another formation. So it's very interesting. What's going on, Lucian? Valfuro is the most versatile Dragonlight. Yeah. Now, also remember, guys, with that being said about our Draconic heroes, is you have to push the Dragon Forge. This is, again, the reason why on my free-to-play account, why I started pushing this a lot higher, because when you go into the Dragon Forge and you're able to get all of the resources or get those scrolls and get those insignias out of the Dragon Forge, this is a part where if you ever want to build the Draconic heroes, you're going to have to do the summons in here. You're going to have to get the copies to actually build them out in the entirety, or you're going to be missing them from all of AFK Arena, which again can be very, very detrimental in there. Should I wait for the next Awaken and see if he or she is worth it to summon, or summon Estrilda, Falx, or Thorin? Right now, if you already do have the two primary, which of course is Envidiel, which is number one when it comes to the Awaken hero. Second one would be the Awaken version of Chimera, again, utility-wise. Third one would be the Awaken version of Estrilda. Again, utility-wise, Estrilda works super, super well. I would do Estrilda. And the thing is, Graham, is if you're going in there, is we know the effectiveness of Estrilda. So right now, as it sits with Estrilda, number one, she comes in as a tank, but she, again, is a very big buffer in here. But she is also a really good damage dealer if you build some support around her. So again, she kind of plays that dual role that we're seeing with a lot of other heroes, where they do fulfill kind of a niche on both sides, where they are a damage dealer and they are a primary support hero within a lot of different places. And of course, the healing and the shielding, I don't feel like Estrilda is going to be going anywhere really anytime soon. I don't see the hero being replaced. And there's a few that are super difficult to replace because fundamentally they do what other heroes don't. That's the reason why, again, the Awakened version of Chimera, still that very top tier, is the ability to keep heroes alive when they would have rather or died within formations, campaign formations, tower formations, even other game modes. Chimera is still being used in a crazy amount of content. Magical Pierce for Val, that explains the effectiveness. Yes, it is. line them up. It is the magical pierce that she needs. It depends. If you have enough TE, you should summon for Estrella, very high utility. Otherwise, save until you have enough to summon. Yeah, and also, guys, knowing where we're at and knowing that the Awakened version of Falks just came out. And again, I'm thinking kind of timeline. Tomorrow is December 1st. We know that the hero is coming up on Tuesday. So again, kind of thinking of where we are right now and thinking of December 1st. Because if we know Tuesday the hero is dropped, that means we'll get another hero on the 16th, the 30th. So that means that the 16th or the 30th, probably going to be the 30th, would be the very last Awakened hero of 2025, looking at the calendar. So that would put her or put the new hero right on par with 2025. So again, I don't think 16 might be a little bit too early, but I feel like the 30th is where we could see the very last Awakened hero of 2025. And they could do one, they could do two, they could do a crossover. There could be a lot of different things in there. Do I invest in older dimensional heroes that I don't have built out? Rem, Rimuru, Amelia. Should I focus on Marseille? So honestly, yeah, focus on the new ones. So when you look at the dimensional heroes and thinking of the new ones right now, probably, and again, priority would be one of two heroes, in my opinion, guys. Number one would be Marseille. When you look at a hero that is a damage dealer, has the ability to buff herself, she is still best in slot damage dealer in a lot of different formations. Marseille absolutely would be one that I would build out. And then I would probably even make sure that we have Miko or Shuna. The Miko Princess, she is one, again, effectiveness of this hero very, very high in a ton of different game modes because she straight buffs up the highest attack rating hero, which usually run in conjunction with a hero like Envy, with a hero like Scion. Again, very broken within formations, does work incredibly well in a lot of different places. And then when you start looking at like Elios, even looking at Sun Jin Woo doesn't really require a very, very big build out to be effective. Of course, the higher you build them, the more effective they get. But baseline, a hero like Sun Jin Woo still does work incredibly well. A lot of the other ones, not really a lot of utility at all for the other ones. Which again, I wouldn't focus on building them out. I wouldn't use my resources in there just for the simple cost. I know Laios is another one, works incredibly well with Marseille, used in a couple different formations, but I don't want you investing in older heroes, especially when it comes to the faction towers, especially when it comes to dimensional heroes. There's no reason to really build them out, especially with the older heroes, because you're not going to invest in them. You're not going to throw all the red chests on there, the engraving, the furniture, everything else for heroes. Because even looking here, thinking of this row, we use Albedo every now and then, but even looking kind of at these last three rows, even down here with Naruko, I don't use any of them for anything ever. We don't have a dimensional tower. I don't know if a dimensional tower is ever coming. But even these last three rows, and even looking up here like Mulan, I don't really use for anything. Rem on a very rare occasion, just because I have everyone built. So out of these dimensional heroes, you probably have about 6 that you use kind of on a regular basis. Other than that, they're not really worth building at all. What's going on, Darko? Do you think maybe the next exchange event will have availability, the option to use Highborn Draconic heroes? I hope so. That's a question. And you guys know that we talked to Lilith, we talked to AFK Arena. We have talked to them about doing the exchange possibly for the holiday. We hope that is coming. We know a lot of players have been asking right now about doing the exchanges. We've also talked quite a bit about doing the engraving resets. So if they're not willing to do the full hero swap, like with the Highborn Draconic heroes, but giving us the ability to do some of the hero swaps as well, or even doing the engraving reset, because I believe we have only had one swap this year. So again, being able to take a hero where I really, really overbuilt the Awakened version of Antandra, being able to wipe the engraving off her in the entirety, take this 80 engraving, put it onto someone else that has a lot of effectiveness. I really think they need to do another swap. And again, we pose and we talk a lot over on Discord and really focus on a lot of different things within AFK Arena that players want to see on a more consistent, I would say even more regular basis, like those swaps, like a couple things of that nature. Just because the resource generation and the heroes heroes coming out every 2 weeks, guys, is expensive. It is incredibly, incredibly difficult to stay up and really stay current with the heroes as they're replacing and putting out all of these Highborn Draconic heroes. Because even when we look at our portraits down here, I mean, when you look at Highborn Draconic heroes, we had Kalon, we had Leviathan, we had Halia, and Skyland. That's about 4 Highborn Draconic heroes, what, this year? I think Skyland might have been 24 into 25, but it has been a relatively short run rate with these Highborn Draconic heroes. And again, when it comes to the cost of these, they are exponentially a lot more expensive than even the Awakened heroes were initially. And I'm also questioning when we're going to get, and I'm assuming for the holiday, another boom right here, Awakened Beast. I feel like there's going to be a point pretty soon where an Awakened Beast is going to be coming down the pipeline. Again, these are going to be ones where you're going to have to get some more of these, which in here we can spend, what, 18,000? That's a lot to get these wish leaves. Now, the question with these, and a lot of players kind of brought up, when it comes to being able to get the Golden Frontier. So when the expedition begins, the latest Fable Beast will have these perks. So a lot of players, again, are kind of speculating that they are going to release another Awakened Beast prior to the next expedition, the next Golden Frontier season that we see. It's going to be interesting to see if they coincide, because if they release the Golden Frontier will utilize this same beast. I don't think they would drop it halfway or midway through. But if you're building out Highborn Draconic heroes and building out the Awakened Beast, as well as, you know, the Ghoulish Gallery, everything else you have in an AFK arena, it just becomes incredibly expensive to get any of this done in any time. There's a lot of players that would need to swap our Gwen. Yeah, I would love to swap Gwen. That would be a good one. Another Awakened. I'm dead. I'm only halfway through with Coffin Boy. And honestly, guys, as you see and hear, and as we've added so many places, you know, to get insignias, to get emblems, to go in here and getting, you know, 10 out of these every single month to come into the guild store, do the exact same. They have made the heroes a lot easier to get overall than we once seen, you know, in AFK Arena. The barracks, I want to see them actually update some of the barracks. I would love to see some updates and changes in here other than what we just currently have. Same with Labyrinth Store. I feel like they could add a couple more things in here, just so players have the ability to build out a lot more heroes. And I also feel, and guys, let me know in the comments what you guys think. I feel like when it comes to the heroes in here, even the heroes in campaign progression, they just need to update what we have, and not an entire overhaul, not, you know, not a crazy change. But even when you go through here, guys, there are none of these heroes that are remotely even in probably the last 2 or 3 years, maybe even more within AFK Arena, that are available within the shop. Again, you're not really giving any players the ability to get the new heroes or get the heroes a little bit cheaper, because you effectively put all of the heroes that nobody uses within the shop. We're not seeing even the dimensional heroes within the store itself, not seeing a huge crossover with any of those. But let's go ahead. Let's do some summons in here. Let's pop open some stones. In here, guys, we only have 1, 2, 3 heroes that we're actually building out in the entirety. And I know we had said, yes, building out the new summons for Lythos, which we can. We can use all of our resources in here. Maybe we can get lucky, guys. Celestial or a Hippo, I would love to see. Rest of these, and really everybody else in here is just going to be a recycle. If we could get an Awakened hero, and there's a double right there, guys. Boom, just 2 more fodder Lightbearer food. But if we could get an Awakened hero out of here, it would be absolutely epic to see. Because we haven't seen them in a long time. Really, it's been a long time. Those are just, again, 2 more rare foods. So nothing within those summons itself. 2 more cards on the table. Let's swap this to our Greyborn hero with 4 summons. And even in here, because we can't get the Highborn, or excuse me, the Awakened heroes, this is kind of a bust in here. And there's Lythos. There we go. So again, we can get her kind of out of the regular summons itself. We could also do the Desired Hero summons. There's a copy of Naru. But if we did the Desire Hero summons in here, the problem would be if we did, we'd burn through all of our diamonds. Now the question is, do we want to still try to get that copy of Beagris, or do we want to go in and build out Lithos? That's a good question. I think next Heroes will be the new Dim collaboration, because it was said, word has it, the merchants from afar is seeking business partners. Yeah, that would be cool. And there's nothing that we've seen right now, guys. There's no leaks. There's nothing, unfortunately, that I can share or that I have knowledge of that you guys don't at this point. There we go. There's a copy of Ira. We are maxed out. And in here, we have just been recycling, again, all of these rare heroes, all of these additional copies. I've been recycling everybody out of here in the entirety. Another question, without taking into account the new Highborn, which one should I focus on if I only have land? And is Beagris 60 worth it, or should I leave him at 30? Right now, Draco, who should you focus on? I would wait. So if you just have land, we know the effectiveness of Leviathan within formations. And honestly, I would probably say Leviathan. But with the new Highborn Draconic hero that is coming out, I would wait to see the effectiveness of the hero overall. Because if you don't have land, or excuse me, if you don't have Leviathan, you can actually, and there are a few substitutes that you can go in here that you can actually do for Leviathan. If the new hero is the best in slot hero in a lot of different comps, which is exactly what we're seeing over on the test server, is that new Highborn Draconic hero is becoming and is the best in slot damage dealer in a couple different formations. I would probably build her out before I would build Leviathan, because of course, when it comes to damage dealers, you can't really substitute them. If you substitute a damage dealer, it is entirely a completely different kind of build. Yeah, even here, the enemy units Dragon Speak resistance, 40 points for 12 seconds. Again, this might be effectiveness if he's being run with the new Highborn Draconic hero, but only time will tell where exactly it is. Yeah, there we go. So new Highborn gives DSA 200% plus 1 copy. Beagris gives 60. So again, 200% versus 60. Kind of crazy. And again, the 60 seems like trash. Thanks for chiming in there, Finn. And what's going on, Korean Rignar? What is going on? Thanks for joining us. Thanks for the info. Yeah, and again, a lot of these heroes, I prioritize the damage dealers. The damage dealers are the ones that are going to be pushing a lot of the envelope within these game modes. Being able to go in the hellscape, being able to do damage in a lot of different game modes, the effectiveness of them, it really makes a difference between having them built or not having them built, just for the fact that damage dealers do push the envelope when it comes to the amount of damage that you can do within AFK Arena. So in here, we did all the summons. Again, we could go in here and build him. What do you think? Are we thinking, Finn, should we build Lithos? I know a lot of players were saying yes, a lot were saying no with 32 votes in there. Let me know, Finn. I'm thinking probably not. Can you add me? I am Yo-Yo. I don't think I have any room. I don't think I have any room in here. He's CF or CD tier. Is that what we're thinking? Yeah, I know they were using him initially in kind of a one-hit wonder. And then the rest of them, I know a lot of players said not at all. That there's no reason to build him at all. Easily replaced, or going to be easily replaced in a lot of different game content, and also not a really big effectiveness in a bunch of different places. Again, that I've kind of seen. Finn, Alvita, Folks, Chicken, SI40, or Save. Alvita's good. Folks, you kind of have to. Cheers from Poland. What is going on from Poland? How's it over there? Guys, we're just north of Detroit, and we got a bunch of snow today. So I was out this morning shoveling snow in the entirety. Who is replaceable? Lithos. Lithos is one that, again, has been replaced in a bunch of different places that I've seen, again, that a lot of players have kind of talked about. Is that the only copy that we have of the hero? I'm almost thinking, was that the first? Because I had thought we had her unlocked. So no, we do not. That is the only copy that we pulled of her was out of there. Let's pop open these stones. I know I have a bunch of stones over here too. that we can go ahead and use. 9 stones, Celestials or Hypos, maybe. New player, already have Rem and Amelia. Who should I get next? Thanks a lot. What do we get? We got another copy, which again, food. Those are all going to be food. Let's go ahead and pop up these 6. Hopefully it's going to be a awakened hero, and it is just some food right across the board. So nothing we need out of any of those stones. Again, just going to be a lot more recycling here for the food. Unfortunately, nothing to do with any of these. I've been stuck at Treasure Scramble at 14%. Nightmare. Oh, Draco took it away. Already have Rem and Amelia. Who should I get next? I'm hoping Marcel. So if you look in here, guys, we are waiting to see to when Marcel is going to be released. It has been a hot topic that we're actually talking to AFK Arena about why are they not already released? They should be. So hopefully it's going to be very, very early, or it's going to be released very soon with Marcel. But I would definitely pick up Marcel. I like Laios as well, but Marcel, again, still best in slot in a couple different places. I would definitely see and wait. If you already have Rem and Amelia, again, the murking the rest of them, not a huge effectiveness in there. Over here drinking my morning coffee. Yeah, I know we have a lot to push through within. And again, thinking of the events. Heroes of Espria, this is a game mode I don't really play a lot. If you're familiar, guys, I do not PvP a lot. So I put whatever teams we kind of had in here because I know I'm really over leveled. Even looking at where we're at with here, we're at 108 versus 54. Pretty much any teams should be able to run through this relatively easy. To go through the here, it does make a big difference because I can just pretty much auto battle whatever we want to go ahead and push through the rest of the divisions. Champion bounties, we already got all of the resources that we need out of there. Now, a lot of times it's super important within the Heroes of Espria to go in and see what team is fighting what team, because there are very specific teams that will work essentially a lot more effective or less effective in a lot of different places. Want to make sure you're getting your daily rewards out of here and ultimately pushing up to the Champions League just to stay there. I really don't push much further than that, but we just drive, and we can even use some resources, use some diamonds in here to continue farming up. And I believe 10,000 plus is where we have to get to. So it doesn't take incredibly long. Can you rate other people's accounts? We have in the past. It's really good to follow tier lists, seeing who you built, how you built them. We did actually a viewer summons, I believe, next week, but there are a few game modes that you really do have to look at it. And I love the shiny roaring frame. We can refresh this because we want to get a little bit higher. Marcel is a Nightmare Corridor Cursed Realm monster. Yeah, I think she's here to stay. She does very well, but again, I don't know why she's not being used in a lot of other places, which is going to be rough. We're also going to have to see what is coming with the new heroes that they're going to release. Remember, guys, with the new hero releases essentially every 2 weeks, who are we replacing? When are we replacing them? It seems incredibly well. And of course, I always mention it, guys, makes a really big difference with if you have heroes or you don't have heroes. So it does make a difference. Not only do you have the copies, do you have the heroes yourself, but where do you have the heroes built out to? It really does make a big difference, because if you do not have some damage dealers, if you're missing some of the support heroes, chances are you're going to have to build out some other heroes essentially to go ahead and fill them in. What's going on, Wee? Thanks for joining us. I regret SI40 Marcel over Misha. And again, makes a big difference if you have Marcel or if you have Misha. That again is going to make a really big difference in their Finn. If you have those heroes available, if you have the ability to build them out. And I believe Misha is another one that we have not built to a 40. I've been kind of going back and forth and figuring out who we need to build, because I don't think, no, we only have at a 30. Might have to build out Misha a little bit. We do not have any friends slots right now. We're still limited to 40. Everybody has been on within about a day. So the friends list, guys, at this point is still completely full. just waiting for inactive players. And a lot of players have also noticed Heroes of Espria, Curse Realm, a couple other places, just because I feel like some players have left AFK Arena. We've seen a lot more dead accounts or accounts that are not really pushing as hard as they once did. Again, it really just comes and goes. It ebbs and flows with AFK Arena, with players that play a ton or don't play at all, or, you know, the effectiveness of a lot of different game modes. And look at that, guys. We got a new subscriber. Big shout out to Steven for subbing to the channel. Very cool to see. We are almost coming up on 42,000. I think 42,000 subscribers is going to be the next milestone out of there. So it's kind of crazy how many subscribers, more than I ever thought, honestly, that we would have on a YouTube channel, but still love playing AFK Arena, guys. I still play this game every single day. And I really do like playing it, not just coming in here, making content, everything else. It's still time to come in here. I've been stuck in Treasure Scramble 14, Cursed Realm less than 60%. Is there an issue been playing for 2 or 3 years? There's got to be some heroes in there, Draco, that you're missing. There has to be a few in there that you have to be missing, more of the key heroes to kind of drive it down a little bit. And again, some of these you have to look at. Wait, was this more teams? Usually when they start getting a lot higher, is it more teams in here? Did I not pay attention to building this out? Or is it still at the 5 teams? No, it's still at 5. Again, this effectiveness, guys. And I haven't reset these teams in like 2 iterations, maybe 3 iterations. I know in here, I really got to go in and change this up. I don't touch Curse Realm seriously. It global ranking. Go in there and try. I mean, honestly, go in there and guys, if you go through and you use Cursed Friends and a couple other things of that nature, really does make it a little bit easier when you can go in there and you can, you know, kick out a lot of the heroes that you don't have built. It really does. What are the most important support champs from the basic 4 factions for a new player starting to work on early, please? I can take a look at them. We can look through, because when you start looking, thinking of the regular, you know, the regular faction heroes within here, and look at that, Brendan, thank you for supporting the channel. I love seeing the little hippos right there, like what Korean has. It's awesome to see. Thank you for the love and support. Let's break down, guys, some of the most important champs from the basic 4 factions. So looking at our light bearer first, and again, thinking of the basic, Palmer, absolutely you want to build. Palmer is a big, big priority. Same with Jerome. 2 very strong support heroes. Alvita's another one. Again, utility-wise, does incredibly well within a bunch of different places. Moving over to the Maulers, again, thinking of the regular support. In here, Talmar will do incredibly well. Same with Gorin. That is another hero. Both of them will do incredibly well in that support aspect. Still see a lot of utility out of Naruko. And then we get into the wilder heroes. In here again, support Misha. Misha is one that is super, super broken in a lot of different places. Like what Finn had said, I wish we built her up to the +40 signature item, which I might actually just go ahead and take her to a +40. But the effectiveness of Misha does incredibly well in a lot of different places. Same with Trishia, even though she's a mage, has a lot of support elements, has some of that energy regeneration. Cameras, another one that does work incredibly well. Then you get into the Graveborn and thinking of, you know, heroes like Mira, does incredibly well. Desirous still sees some play. Silas still sees some play. But overall, Ivan is going to be the one that you want. And look at that, guys. We got a super chat as well. Thank you for the super chat. That is awesome. Thank you for the love and support for the channel. That is awesome. Yeah, but like I was saying, when it comes to them, yes, Ivan, absolutely. You want to build out Ivan a little bit earlier. You want Randy, this hero, the effectiveness, the utility, even the damage dealer early game. Randy is going to be a priority. So even there, you're talking 2 to 3 heroes in each of the regular 4 factions that have an incredible amount of utility in a lot of different places. You absolutely want to build them out. And if you look down in the guide section, there is a new player guide that goes over setting up your wish list in the very beginning. So definitely go in there and kind of break that down so you can see what's going on. Van Gogh, Little Slayer is here. How are you doing? Can have a look at my inn. Let me hop in. I actually have to do some furniture summons in here. We've been waiting for these as well. Focus understanding what most heroes do in DIY. Yeah, like I said, if you're hopping over on Reddit or Discord and you're looking at the cursed friends, they have a lot of different guides out there, and you can actually fill in or exclude a lot of different heroes in a lot of different game modes. I really, really do recommend doing that, just for the simple fact that you can add or exclude heroes. It works incredibly well, and I know Sibo put so much time and effort in there. Absolutely check it out, because the effectiveness of it is huge when it comes to building it out, and when it comes to being able to, again, kind of search in there and have a look at what we have. So there's another piece for Scion. And I'm going to save my red cards. I know Finn always tells me save my red cards that are on the table. There is Lucius, boom, back-to-back furniture. There's Envy. And I think some of these are almost done in their entirety. I know recommended we got another piece for Celine, a little bit closer, a little bit more for Falks. Even looking at our upgrades, I want to make sure none of these are done. So those are all max. Those are all max. 2 more pieces for Lucius, and he will be done in the entirety. Scion's another one that we're just getting very close to maxing out the furniture. And of course, the same with Envy, max across the board there. And we'll continue finishing out and building out all of those. Again, damage dealers, really the min-max in there can make a big difference. You need to focus 5, 6, and 7. When I was new, Trishia gave me a team. Yeah, Trishia's, the effectiveness, like we said, guys, Trishia is super, super effective in a lot of game modes. Early game, because you can get her just out of regular summons. It does work incredibly well. Trishia with Baden, I believe that might have been, we might have seen that before. And there's another copy for Grok. I still like the bug tank. All right, so there we go. We got another copy, so that's double copies for him. I feel like we're almost done with our poke coins. They go so fast, guys. There is Scion again. Let me see. So that gives us 2 cards on the table. I think we're going to, in that, yeah, it gives him 9 of 9. I don't think I overbuild him, which I did not. Again, these are almost done. A couple more pieces. Even here, again, a few more pieces, and that will be done in the entirety. But let's drop him out. Again, 9 of 9 is where we wanted to build him. In most of these, again, we do have a lot of these built up already to that 9 of 9. We have some Serene, or we have Falks in there. We have Begress. Yeah, still need a couple more pieces. 3 cards on the table, though, which would be good. That is going to be awesome. Trishia Baden in a Nightmare Corridor comp. You need to read her. Oh, you need to read her skills. Yeah, guys, you got to make sure you know what the heroes do. That is a big, big part of AFK Arena. Not just throwing together, you know, kind of random heroes, but you do have to make sure you know exactly what they do. We're going to recycle these, giving us 1 more pull. But again, I'm going to leave those 3 cards on the table because we know we have a Highborn Draconic hero that's coming, and there is another copy for Valfura. We'll go ahead and we are building up. I forget which one we were building her up. This top one. There we go. We got 3 already. So that is pretty much all for the furniture summons. Again, another 70,000 poke coins. And I can't imagine how many millions and millions and millions of poke coins that we've been. What's going on, Light? It has been a minute indeed. How are you, brother? Good to see you over on the live stream. And yeah, I mean, look at how many pieces of furniture we have in here, guys. We are already, what, north of 1,400 pieces of furniture. Again, that's kind of insane that we have that many pieces. Starting to get a lot of these heroes up to that 9 of 9. Definitely going to finish this out. We need to make some more campaign progression. Campaign progression, I've been slacking on really bad. Guys, I am one, and going through here is I will just farm or wait in farm levels over and over and over again. Long before I go in there and I really hardcore push progression. I would rather go in here, be able to make progression, and be able to make progression a lot faster, make progression a lot easier, just for the fact that we are very high over leveled. Even here's 979. I think we're at 1100. So it should be very easy to go through here again, simply because we are way over leveled. As we farm through here, we can actually farm through a lot faster in there. Your count is super old. Sounds like you pulled useless heroes a lot. Or AFK for many months. Depending on who you have, you have to prioritize the wish list, guys. We talk about this a lot when it comes to the heroes, essentially, that If you're overbuilding or building a lot of heroes that do not need to be built, it can absolutely devastate your account. Just because, again, if you're building heroes that you really don't need to, it can make a really big difference with progression, and it can hurt a lot of progression. In here, I'm going to go ahead and get some more of those elemental cores. The cores, remember, we need, I believe, 4,500 for a plus 40 signature item. We are at 46, so we are literally right there. Now, also remember, we do have another Mystic Star Zone that is coming around the bend. That is going to be coming up pretty soon. I'm an AFK. I can share screenshots of the account. Tell me your user. Oh, yeah, check out some of those. Let's draw this, guys. Boom. Let's see if we can get lucky with the furniture. Is it? Nope, just some diamonds. That's okay, though. Again, Lythos, we're going to wait. I'm going to wait to see if we are going to build him or build, him, just because, again, the effectiveness of investing in a hero and putting, resources into a hero. I'm going to have to go through and do the bountiful trial, but I don't like investing in heroes that we're not going to use. You really have to be cautious and really have to be cognizant of going in here and, again, building out some of the heroes or investing in some of the heroes that we don't use at all. Should I get the new Highborn Draconic hero or should I go for Skyland? I would probably get the new hero. The thing is, I know it's very early. Now, Skyland, we know the effectiveness of Skyland overall in a lot of different places. And Skyland, of course, is going to shine and does super well within the treasure scramble itself. A lot of other places, we're not seeing him used as much within formations. I feel like with the new hero coming up, and again, hopping over on the test server, we are seeing the new Highborn Draconic hero being used in meta formations already. It seems like she is going to be meta kind of out of the gate, and very similar that we see with all of these Highborn Draconic heroes, she is going to require a big build because she is a damage dealer. When you start looking at the effectiveness of your damage dealers like Scion, the higher you build them, the better they're going to perform, period. When you start stacking all kinds of stats on the hero, when you start stacking abilities, when you start stacking, even here, guys, adding a lot more crit, adding a lot more physical pierce, when you start stacking and building up these heroes much higher, the utility of them and really that top end damage scaling that we see just does go higher and higher, which is huge. I'm glad I asked for advice on Levi. I got top 50 treasure scramble. That is awesome, Light. Yes, guys, you have to, again, you have to build out some of these bigger heroes, and they do require a lot of a bigger build. Skyland gives +1 treasure scramble, new Highborn Draconic all around, depending on what you focus. And again, that's where I think even Finn is, if you're building out Skyland, treasure scramble is, going to have a lot of utility, but I feel like you're going to be missing a little bit more in the Nightmare Corridor or the Cursed Realm, just because of the effectiveness of the hero in these game modes. And even here, guys, we're at 12, and then in here we're at 2 or 1. Might be able to score a little bit better. Might have to go in here, and I know we did change some of this up. Still trying to get this furniture scroll. And then, of course, the Draconic insignias, knowing what is coming down the line. Now, in here, some of the teams that I used, and it's interesting because now I have Kalon. So I did Merc, and when we first did this, we didn't have Kalon Merked. And again, big shout out to Lith. I don't know if I've seen Lith here, but he did let me build or let me borrow the copy of Kalon. So I feel like we're going to have to go through, we're going to have to look at some of these recommended formations, because he is another one that is in some of these formations like here. That is best in slot within here. So I'm going to have to look at team number 4, see if we're going to use Kalon in here, because right now, because I do not have him, we actually had the substitution in here of using Envy in here instead of using Envy in the first one. Let me see what it looks like. Now, of course, when you do the recommended formations, we're going to go ahead and it is going to change my artifacts. This is where it gets Kalon might be a scam. That boss wanted a shield. Now, I've come in here and did this a lot, but the effectiveness of this, so you have to kind of go back through here, and I believe this is probably where Halia was being used. But I'll have to go through in here because this will, of course, replace and put Kalon in there. And team number 4, we'll have to see the effectiveness in there, because right there is Lith's hero. And I believe for Haleo, we were using, I believe it was Chad. Were we using Chad? I'm going to have to think exactly who we're using. And then, of course, this, you have to do the cheese. So we have to go in here. We have to reset. Also looking at a lot of heroes where, you know, the change up. So in here, even looking at right here with Aurelia does want the erosion. So we got to come in here and we have to change the erosion set and put the erosion set that we have on her. Being able to, again, to add another 50 points of erosion. We're going to have to go through manually kind of adjust all what we have within here based on what the heroes need. Looking at Valfura, again, in the Magic Pierce. Resetting this, if we want to try it again, it's pretty tough in there. Treasure Scramble, you copy base 15% and should be translated to 1%. Treasure Scramble. Yeah, and that's where I'm at. So I can get Finn a little bit better, usually in here 1%, which again, I feel like we might be able to score a little bit better having Kalon in here with this formation, just because all these heroes are pretty well built. So I'm hoping that's going to make a big difference. Again, I'm going to have to go reset the tree, which I do not like doing. I hoped at one point Orthos would go away, or they would banish Orthos, or something would happen with the awakened version of Orthos or Zolrath. But overall, having to reset this every single time is just kind of a pain in the ass, in my opinion, just because we have to go in there. I don't know. I have 10 awakened, 12 celestials, good draconic, some collections. If I start a new account, the problem is I'm going to have all the events. Yeah, I wouldn't start a new account, Draco. Honestly, for where you're at, you can farm a lot more for where you're at. I got in 4% this iteration. Oh, you did? Yeah. 4% this iteration. You should have about 1%. Again, even looking back here, guys, like I said with the library, going in here, having to reset right here with the Dura's Fortitude. I'm going to have to go and see what it is. I've been here a while. Just wanted to say hi. What's going on, Kevy Kev? Thanks for joining us. Should I go Celine over Saramira for more support? I like Celine. And honestly, where we're seeing Saramira, and did we even get through a level here? I'm going to have to look. I think maybe we're still stuck on the same one. Some of them run the Thorin cheese, which again is what I'm assuming. Yeah, there is Thorin. At this level, we should have no issues, or we shouldn't have to run that Thorin cheese. Let me go Straw Hat Fluffy and see if they're running Thorin. No, see right there. So let's go ahead and use this one. Thorin cheese, of course, is this super ultimate RNG. But like I was saying with Saramira, she is one that we're seeing her in the Nightmare Corridor as a very, very burst one. I would probably go in there and I would build Celine over her right now. Yeah, that's my thought. I can't Thorin cheese. And I noticed when this wasn't moving, Thorin cheese isn't going to work because I'm so overpowered leveled. Yeah, that doesn't even make sense. But again, Celine, we're starting to see in a lot of different places. She is being run within Treasure Scramble formations. We're seeing her within the Nightmare Corridor. Also seeing her in some of the Curse Realm as well. Again, depending on the rotation, depending on the iteration. I feel like this is a hero that you're going to have a lot more utility out of. Not only for the damage that she's putting out, but also for the buffing aspect that she possesses. I would probably build her out of Celine feels like Curse Realm reward, so not worth it for me. Yeah, in there, like I said, we're also seeing her. I know, oh, it's not going to let me in. We're also seeing her in the Treasure Scramble this iteration. There were a couple teams that were running her in there as well. So I would probably build her over Saramira just for the sake that again, the utility of the hero overall. If I text you and share some screenshots instead of the game, can you text me back? Draco, the easiest is hop on Discord. If you want to add me and share some of those screenshots on Discord, the in-game mail, as much as they have revamped it through the last 6 years, is still very, very buggy and very crappy. If you write in Discord, it's super easy to go through. Let me hop over and grab my Discord, which I think it's just FHG. Let me see if I have Discord. Yeah, Discord is very easy, guys, for me to communicate. A lot of the other game modes, especially in-game, is very difficult to go back and forth. It's even a lot harder to see, which again is kind of crazy, but I can grab my Discord. Come on, let me see. Copied username. It's very easy because it's pretty much, that is Discord. What do you think the next collab will be? Dev said there will be one more this year. With the release schedule, Cyber, the next release would have to be within the next 2 weeks. We would have to see it. And again, we know there is also going to be an Awaken Wilder coming, which at this point, because of Falks, could be anyone within all of AFK Arena. I don't know. I honestly, I don't know if you guys have any recommendations or any thoughts on what would go in there. It'd be interesting. They ruined the guild chat with the updated chat. Yeah, I don't get it at all, Stefan. It's really weird when they updated the chat and when they changed the chat. Again, there are so many weird things with chat. I don't go in chat. You can see even the notification here. I haven't used chat or gone in chat or really anything in, I would probably say, years. So if you message me and you think I'm totally ignoring you in chat, in game chat, I am absolutely totally ignoring you. We don't use it for anything. We don't even use it for Abyssal Expedition, nothing of that nature. Everything that we do in the entirety all goes through Discord. We don't go, we don't have anything. Yeah, and there's also a lot of weird people out there, guys. There are a lot of really weird things, a lot of weird people, a lot of just very, very unusual things within chat that we've seen. What's going on, Darren? Thank you for joining us. A little bit late, but that's okay. I am good with it. We got a couple more minutes here. So again, guys, I am going to level up, and I'm waiting and kind of saving my resources because when we start looking, and Finn, I want to get your input on this. If we're looking to purchase some Draconic insignias, I know this place is very, very bad to buy them because they are just stupid expensive. Where would you recommend if I was looking to pick up Draconic insignias overall? Yeah, this place, I mean, you have 10 insignias for $15, 12 insignias for $20. You're talking $2.50 for each insignia. Those cards, 3 for $1. Golden Frontier, yeah, but that's not up. Golden Frontier, yeah, I'm gonna have to see when the next iteration of the Golden Frontier. 3 cards for $1. Now, how many can you buy? So if we need 500 cards, can we just buy them all? Can we spend like $100 and get 300 cards out of there? I don't see it. 4 people buy in Golden Frontier. Yeah. Again, the cost, because I went through kind of even the merchant ship today. And I know when the hero comes out, we do have a few that come within the advanced ship, a couple packs in here, maybe less than 50. Yeah, see, that's where if we're looking to pick up a lot more of these, we're going to have to wait till the hero actually drops and we can get a lot more copies of those. Because I went through a couple other places, like I know the the wishing ship. A lot of players were buying all of the Awaken out of here, buying some of the scrolls. But in here, we do not have Draconic insignias. Unfortunately, not in there. When is the patch dropping? Tuesday. So tomorrow, Kumo, will be the patch notes. Tuesday will be the official patch. That's what I'm thinking. When the Highborn drops, I know they're going to do the Draconic deal for this one. They didn't do it for Begress, but I might have to look. Yeah, 50 cents to $1. We're going to have to look, and I'm going to have to save. I'm thinking for the holiday, we're going to pick up some more of those cards, just knowing that we're going to build the new hero. Now, of course, all of the keys out of here, again, Highborn Draconic insignias, not really finding them many places at all that we traditionally see them. So we do have to wait for the update, which again is going to drop on Tuesday. We'll pick up some insignias, plus we'll also get all of those free insignias that we do get. Hopefully there's some bonus packs out of there. But then we are at 226, so we'll have about 300. If I buy up to about 4, I'm okay summoning at 4. Knowing that we're going to go ahead and we're going to be buying out a couple packs, and we'll get some more out of there, Finn. She's a Highborn Draconic hero that I'm going to build. And if you remember, guys, looking at Skyland being right here at Legendary Plus, even looking at these copies of Halia, these copies of Kalon, even looking at these copies of Gwen, these were all free. These were all absolutely free out of here that I got out of the regular polls. The spin event, Seal Dragon card were cheap. Also the one for Halloween. We'll have to see what they're putting up for Christmas. It's going to be interesting to see because I know when it comes to Thanksgiving, they really don't do a lot, but I want to see what it's going to look like and what they're going to pop and what they're going to put up for Halloween. That's going to be interesting. And again, I don't know if Begress is going to be worth, and I'm thinking the plus 30 right here. That we do need to build. We need to build out this tenacity, need to build them out a collection as well. but getting his additional copy, I know I need, I believe, 2 more copies of Begress to actually build them out. We've already spent close to 300 summons in there and never got those last 2 copies of Begress, so it's just kind of stupid at this point to continue dropping all of those resources and everything in there, because unfortunately we have not been able to pick up those copies of Begress. Now, like I had said, over leveling in here, what are we at? We're 9 levels through already, which is going to yield us, boom, we get some of those Stargazer scrolls in here, really looking for some of the essence, and of course, those red chests as well. Very cool to pick up all of those resources. We're going to have to farm out these towers in the entirety. Looking at the Celestial Sanctum, I believe these are already done until the patch drops, so definitely there. You have SI40 Begress, so for Nightmare Corridor, that is all you need. Yeah, that's usually, I use them in Nightmare Corridor, a couple other places, but I almost thought with Tenacity in the Nightmare Corridor, that might have a little bit more effectiveness in there. Just for the fact that he's pretty close. Now in here, I look for someone who is around my level is what I look for. So here's 1050. So we're a little bit higher. I'm going to go ahead and again, kind of just set this up, let it run as I farm through other places. And I wish I could go in and do other game modes while this ran, like for instance, going in the Temple Rift, going to a couple other places, but it stops the battle when you're going in other places, which I don't like at all. But again, when it comes to the Highborn Draconic hero, I believe we have enough insignias for the 40 already. Or no, we don't. 162. We have 1,000 of these. Yeah, we have 1,000 epic Dragon Speak emblems. So between those two, with everything we get on a regular basis, we should be able to. Begress and Nightmare Corridor seems replaceable. He does, but if you haven't built, I mean, why not? Yeah, so we're gonna have to get some more of these Dragon Speak emblems. And again, we get them, we'll get a lot of those out of summons. I was just literally thinking about that. And then of course we have 993 of our red chest, 321. And then we also do have enough within the elemental core. So if we could get the copies or build her up to where we needed her with the new Highborn Draconic heroes, we have enough to build her. How much do you need to pay for FHG to view my account? Do you need to pay? You don't have to pay anything. On live, I don't charge anything for it. I view the accounts for free. Of course, super chat, donation, whatever is always welcome. Yeah, I could look at it. If you want to shoot over some information, I can take a look at it, but I'm not going to charge you anything to do it. No, I wouldn't. Again, I normally don't. The easiest way is if you shoot me over some screenshots, I can absolutely review your account. I don't really have to do it live. Like what I told with Draco, yeah, you can shoot me over a couple of screenshots. I can kind of cover everything. Yeah, would be interesting to viewers. I can. Now, you got to remember, guys, when I do the summons, when I do the views, stuff like that, yeah, we'd have to set everything up. I might have to do a stream if we're doing it somewhere through the week to kind of look it through. Streamers usually charge during live to review their account. No, like I said, I don't charge anything. I'm not too worried about that. I'm more about the game itself, which is awesome to play. Shoot me a message over on Discord and I'll see. Now, of course, you have to know, guys, and I always disclose this if I've ever done it to you up front. I need the username and password for the account to actually log in. Please do not share it in chat. I just want to know if anyone is not comfortable at all. Do not give me any information. Do not just blindly send me information over on Discord or over on Reddit. Again, talk to me first before you do it. I've had a lot of people that just send me all of their personal information. I do not want it. I delete it. I scrub my computer. I shred it through my virus protection software and everything else. Just, yeah, shoot me a message over there and we'll talk about it and we'll see. I'll see, because I might put together something just during the week that we can do kind of an off regular stream. Spend, 30, 45 minutes kind of going through the account, put it in a good direction, put it back on track to what it really needs to. Especially if you're throwing money in there, guys. I don't want you to go in there and buy stuff and buy upgrades and build heroes that you really don't need. So yeah, like I said, guys, just shoot me a message over on Discord. I linked it up above if you want to go ahead, and it's FHG YouTube, so very, very easy to find, but definitely want to make sure that you're putting it over there. Can you review it live right now? I cannot right now. no, to go in, reset all this, I cannot do it right now. No, it's right now I can't. It's too much of a setup. There's a lot to do. There's a lot to log in. There's a lot of security. There's a lot of different things to hop in and do it right now. Unfortunately, I cannot. But like I said, send me over some info, and within the next couple of days, I can hop on. We can review it. We can even hop on and just do a live stream and kind of getting it. Yeah, we can definitely take a look at it. But all right, guys, I know we're just a little bit over on time, but absolutely, thank you for all the love and support, guys. All the memberships, all the super chats, you know, the new subscribers, everything else for the channel. It absolutely makes it so well worth it, as well as being able to share with you guys about AFK Arena. It is something that I love to do on a weekly basis, putting out videos on a regular basis, making sure you know everything, as well as a big shout out to all of the content creators out there that make the visual guides, the YouTube videos, everything else. It is really, in my opinion, guys, keeping AFK Arena community together, where you got to find the information that you're looking for and everything else, which is awesome, guys. Again, thank you guys for joining me. We do this every single week if you haven't joined us before. And I know a lot of people even show it up, like Darren and a lot of other ones that kind of pop in here and there. So again, thank you guys for joining me for the stream. It's awesome to see. Have a lot more that is coming here. The crying face cannot get through the stage, which I love that they put that in. It's so funny. But again, Monday, tomorrow is going to be the patch notes. Tuesday is going to be the new hero. As it sits right now, she seems very broken over on the test server. The damage that she scales very high, of course, going to require a pretty big build on there, just for the simple fact that she is a hero that is a primary damage dealer. The buffing, the reduction, everything else. So we're going to have to see. So again, guys, thank you guys for joining me. And as always, thank you guys for watching.